So hello and welcome to another edition of my Become Unstoppable series. And as ever, I've got another amazing guest for you. This is Bina. Bina, would you like to introduce yourself, my darling?
Hi everyone, and hi Julie. My name is Bina Gungah. I am a mom of two beautiful children and a furry baby, a teddy, a dog. And I am also a senior nurse practitioner and co-founder of Shikra Wellbeing.
Wow, not much then. So those who don't know me, I'm Julie Fitzpatrick. I'm the founder of Millieside Therapy and Coaching, and I'm a multi-award winning therapist and coach. And I help many people to really release them from their stress and their overwhelm, really, and build their confidence so that they can be really, truly unstoppable. And I know Bina was being very modest just then because she's actually a multi-award winning business owner too, aren't you?
Absolutely, yes. Feel a bit, I'm grateful obviously to be multi-award winning, but sometimes talking about this pinch me moment kind of,
Yeah,
that we are
yeah.
now multi-award winning. So no, that is very true. We are.
And we'll get into that a little bit in a moment. But before we do that, I need to ask you my very famous question of what does being unstoppable mean to you?
So for me, being unstoppable is just through my comfort zone that I used to be before, and just forcing myself out of that comfort zone, and
Mm.
literally just facing with all the challenges that I have been through, and moving through those challenges, through those weaknesses that I once thought it was a weakness, and try and making it become my strength. So
Oh, I
for
love
me, this is what unstoppable means, and I continue to do so. And just kind of making this becoming my passion to help people out there through my products and the well-being products that I actually bring to all our customers.
That's amazing. And we will talk about that in a little bit as well. Got lots of things to talk about, really. But something I really want to mention for both of us as well. Recently, we've been both been published as well, haven't we? We've both got an amazing, each got an amazing article that for me was published in about 6 or 7 outlets, but you also got published in multi outputs as well, didn't you? And one of them in particular was so exciting for you, wasn't it?
Yes, we were featured actually in about 8 press releases altogether. The most exciting one was actually Marie Claire,
That's
and
amazing,
that
isn't it?
is just amazing to be featured among the 5 best acupressure mat and pillow set for Shikra Wellbeing. So that is, yes, just unbelievable and amazing.
I know, it's
So
exciting.
grateful for that. And and it's on our link as well on our Instagram page, and it will soon go on our website too, because that is phenomenal for us.
It is phenomenal. And when talking about the awards, because one of them, it was a real big event you went to, wasn't it? A week or two ago now. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we attended the branded retreat, and where we there was a lot of entrepreneurs there, and we had to apply for awards, and we just won the Impact Award, which was amazing again. And it's just the impact basically that we've created, on so many life of customers through, their own well-being journey. And and the other award was actually about more than a week ago now, I would say. It was the National Beauty UK Award, where we were a finalist for the best wellness business, and we didn't win, but to be honest, I was really happy to be runner up. Basically, Shikra Wellbeing was
Mm,
runner up for best business brand. So that is exciting.
it's
So
exciting, isn't it?
that's actually has given me more, feeling more motivated to carry on, to keep pushing through. And so that is, in the space of, I would say, a few weeks, we've won a few awards, we've been on press releases, which is absolutely amazing.
I know, it is amazing. And like you say, it's kind of like those pinch moments, isn't it? Like my most recent award at that retreat was for resilience. And I ended up being a complete basket case, didn't I, when we got awarded it? But
Oh, you were amazing, Julie.
oh, thanks,
You were
darling.
absolutely amazing. It was nice, isn't it? Like everyone there, getting you the award and talking about it and appreciating all our hard work that we all do, and we don't actually give ourselves like credibility for what we do
No.
and for our business. And I think that was actually a really real moment to actually reflect on everything as well. That where we've come, we've come through a lot of, with strength, weaknesses, everything that we have to go through as, business entrepreneurs. And so that was a really good moment
It was
for us.
good. And it was nice for us as well, actually, because obviously we knew each other, but to spend additional time together, wasn't it? And one of the things we were talking about was our origin stories, wasn't it? And
Absolutely.
you come up with stuff, and I'm going, seriously, why have you never told me this? So let's get into your origin story, right, Bina? Because this is what this is all about. Everyone wants to know about you, okay? So tell us, right, we know already that you're a nurse practitioner. Obviously, you said it much better than I just did. And you're the founder of Shikra Wellbeing. So how did that happen? How did you end up being in the situation that they're in right now, winning awards, being published, but having two amazing careers? Because although they're a little bit different, they're the same, aren't they? Because they're still in a very caring environment. And I know you're passionate about both of them, because I remember you telling me that a lot, and you're very clear on that as well. So tell us how you ended up being where you are right now. What happened to you? What's your unstoppable story?
So everything happened for the pandemic. As we know, there is a lot of, people went through so many, in terms of their own mental health and, resilience with what they were doing. For me personally, I actually was redeployed onto a hospital. So that was Skegness Hospital I was redeployed to. So currently I actually work in a health clinic, and all throughout the 22 years of nursing, I've actually worked in clinic-based environment.
Right.
So I've not actually worked on a ward environment. And during the pandemic, most of our team were redeployed to work on a ward. And we all embraced it because we were in the middle of a pandemic. We just had, to go and play our part, basically helping our patient and also helping the staff as well, to create a stronger workforce, basically, in the NHS. But obviously things didn't go according to how I figured out that it was going to. So basically, those who doesn't know, I was actually born with Spina Bifida. So Spina Bifida is actually a neuro defect of the spine, and I've actually had challenges since, from childhood to adulthood, and I'm still struggling with that. However, I didn't know how that was going to impact on my personal, my physical, basically, until I was sent on the ward. And that's when because in clinic base, you normally, with your patient, you've got your list, you work through your patient list, you do your computers, you actually do examination, and then you bring the next patient in. Whereas ward base is completely different, where I was like almost, throughout the whole shift on my feet. And I didn't realize until I was there that I actually was struggling a lot more than I normally do. So normally I just get some aches and, pains that are manageable. For me, I'm just used to that, and it's manageable. I don't take any painkillers for it. However, on the ward, the pain became unbearable to the point where I couldn't weight bear. I had to lean on other things, like to actually, so that I could, for the pain, and the pain wasn't subsiding anyhow. And in the end, what I had to do was, obviously, when I came home, just relax, didn't do much, took painkillers. And because we were in the middle of the pandemic as well, there wasn't any therapist that I could go to.
Mm.
And normally this is what I used to do if I was in a lot of
I mean,
pain.
massages and stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely, therapist for massage, and everywhere was shut. But anyway, because I was only working part-time, so it actually I had time to actually rest, and I was fine until the day I would go back again and the same would restart. So that
Mm.
did affect me immensely, not just physically, I would say mentally as well. And in fact, it was affecting my home life, because when I, got home, I couldn't do much. I
Mm.
just had to lay down basically. And this was something I'd never mentioned before, because it didn't affect my career and until that point.
So you saying then that most of the people that knew you in your career had no idea that you had spina bifida?
No, had no idea, because it didn't affect me. I didn't see the need of talking about it, or to anybody apart from my close mates. They actually knew. And so that was the turning point for me, where I
Mm.
thought, if I actually don't talk about it now, I this is going to kind of affect me
Mm.
mentally. It would affect the way I am actually working, the caring side of me, and also how I would care for my patient. Because when you're there, you want to give your full,
Mm.
yourself basically in that environment, helping as much as you can. And that was affecting me, where I just thought I couldn't do it. In
So
the
what,
end,
what did you feel in that instance though? What, I don't mean the pain, like to be in that position where, there's all this thing about we're in the pandemic, clapping for the NHS people. You're in there in the midst of it, but you can't do it. How did
I
that
couldn't
really
do
make
it.
you feel?
That was the point where it did affect my mental health, because I felt
Mm.
overwhelmed. All of a sudden, there's so much happening. What do I do? And what will happen if I tell them? Would they tell me, right, okay, I am not able to perform
Mm.
as a nurse, and would I have to stop? So there was so much going on and I felt really, really low in my mood,
Mm.
because at that point I didn't know that was going to affect me that way. Otherwise, I would have, raised that right at the beginning, that I wouldn't be able to work on a ward. So for me, it was something that actually just hit me, and there was so much going on in my mind with my own health, my own well-being, and in my future in terms of working as a nurse. So there was so much going on, to the point where I thought, right, I need to talk about this now, and
Mm.
then we'll see what will come. And because I
Yeah.
just couldn't carry on.
Did you feel like you were letting your colleagues down and the nation in a way?
Absolutely. That is the
Mm.
absolute crucial part that actually came to my mind.
Mm.
And to the point where I was in so much pain that even painkillers wasn't doing much, basically.
Mm.
And although I was working part-time, I felt like I was working part-time. I should be able to continue and carry on. But that
Mm.
was the point where I thought, no, I was not able to actually do it, to physically do it. It was
Mm.
affecting me basically mentally, physically, emotionally as well, because I was like nearly in tears at some point,
Mm.
because we were all so busy and all I was thinking of the pain, because that was affecting
Yeah.
me.
And
And
actually, because you were in that state as well, you probably were exasperating that pain as well, weren't you? Because you had that guilt, you had the fear, the anxiety of, oh my God, how am I going to tell people? What are people going to think about me? I'm letting everyone down. And you've got that burden sitting on your shoulders, which is many people have got in their everyday life. So to actually, and because you'd kept that as a secret in a way, and I like that because it didn't define you, did it? You're not saying I'm Bina and I've got spina bifida. I'm Bina. Oh yeah, I never mentioned it, but I was born with spina bifida. So you didn't let it define you, which is also a great asset, I think, for you, and something that you should pat yourself on the back for.
absolutely, absolutely, because I always kind of pushed through anyway, regardless. And I
Mm.
didn't want my, disability that I had become, my identity, basically. I
Yeah,
wanted my
exactly.
identity to be an independent working woman, as a nurse, as a senior nurse practitioner, and doing my job, with full passion, and not letting, as I think that's something that most nurses I actually find, that they actually care for everyone else, their family, their patient, and actually we
Don't
do
look after themselves.
yeah, absolutely. That was the pivotal moment for me as well, to look into right now, this is it. Now this is the moment I've got to actually look after myself, because obviously with age you kind of feel it more. I mean, before it didn't bother me, it didn't affect me. It did give me pain, and I did have the challenges as well, but it was manageable for me. And so basically, cutting a long story short, I eventually talked about it. I was assessed, and I was sent back to my clinic. So I actually lasted on the ward, I would say, less than 3 weeks. And now, I just had to think about what will I do, and what will happen if I can't carry on. And it was at that point when I was going through all the low in mood, or feeling overwhelmed by everything. And I actually then sought help in terms of looking at YouTube what else I could do, instead of just taking painkillers or just feeling sorry for myself.
Okay, so this leads us into the next segment quite nicely, doesn't it? A good little segue here. So let's just we'll just get back into the groove then, right? So you've been this nurse practitioner, been doing that quite happily for many, many years. The pandemic hits. You, like everybody else in the NHS, got pulled into the real hard-hitting stuff. Unfortunately, you couldn't cope with your physical condition. You went back. However, rather than dwell on that and start feeling sorry for yourself and, oh, poor me, you went, right, I'm going to find some alternatives here, because I didn't like the fact that I was in pain, and I didn't like the fact that I needed to take loads of medication. So that started journey number 2. So take it from there, my lovely.
Absolutely. So when all the salon was closed, I couldn't get to my massage therapist. I remember texting her and asking what else, I could do in terms of my pain. And she suggested trying an acupressure mat, which, it was something I've actually never heard before. And I just thought, right, let's give it a go. Let's try. At the time, Amazon was great, obviously, to actually get everything on there. And I looked at acupressure mat. I just ordered one that was like mid-range, and I just thought, right, let's try and see. And at that moment, basically, when I tried the acupressure mat, it actually helped me. I would say the pain was, instant, that I actually felt the pain just melting away. Obviously, with an acupressure mat, when you think about it, it's got thousands of like spikes on it. And at first you don't know what to expect. And I just read through all the instruction, just laid on it on bare back straight away. It felt prickly and felt the warm sensation to begin with, but gradually, because obviously your mind is on the, the prickling sensation that you could feel as well, you think like, what's happening and what's going to happen next? And all of a sudden, I just felt like calm, felt more relaxed, and the pain is just gone. And I was like, wow, this was just amazing feeling that I've never felt, straight away after using a product.
And this is one of these wonderful, this is what we're talking here, isn't it? Actually, I probably brought this out a bit too soon, because in your story, you haven't created your own one yet, but you had something similar to this, didn't you? And you loved it so much. So then what happened?
Similar. The quality wasn't kind of, similar to obviously our quality, but it was something that actually helped me, and I used it daily, and it saved about up to 20 minutes. But I will be honest with you, I used mine up to 45 minutes, because I actually literally fell asleep as well. And it's not you know, after you fell asleep, then you move slightly, you think, ouch, then realize you're actually laying on a mat. And I actually used mine on the floor gradually, and eventually I moved it to a bed, because no matter where I put it, it actually worked for me. It just gave me that instant relief. But obviously, you know, looking at the design of it, and I just thought, wow, this is an idea for me. And I will look into bringing a product that I've used myself. I've seen the benefit of it. However, I wanted to bring something that was premium, that was of, you know, high quality, but also bring lots of value to my customers. And because I this is obviously my passion as a nurse as well, and I wanted to create that passion through my products. I didn't want to just bring a mat. I wanted it to have the pillow, like, you know, a full set. So basically, when you're using it, you're getting the full benefit of it. And that was the whole idea, not to compromise on the, you know, ethics, obviously. And we normally do a lot of natural products, and natural products was something that I normally use, because I mentioned earlier, I do not like taking painkillers. So all through my life, I've actually used, you know, other stuff, like natural stuff, to actually help me with my own well-being. And at that point where I actually brought that, the idea what business I was going to start, so I created, you know, got my own design, looked into the manufacturing process, but at the same time, to actually help my mood and my well-being, I started looking into holistic therapy, in terms of into meditation. And honestly, meditation helped me a lot, and up to now I still do meditation. I have to admit, I don't do it as much as I did, because at that time I was so low in my mood that I actually really needed meditation almost
You need meditation every day, darling.
every day.
It's
Yes,
not about whether how we're feeling. You need to do it.
absolutely. We need to do it. We need to find the time to do it. But also, because I do other things, not just meditation, I actually started doing yoga,
I
and
love
I
it.
also started hypnotherapy, you know, sleep, with sleep, to actually, and there's a lot of them on YouTube, which I didn't know, and I found. And obviously, with the hypnotherapy helping you with sleep, there's meditation incorporated in that as well. And yeah, so now I have to say, although I do it less, which I should be doing it more regularly, but I do use a combination of stuff. And the other thing I actually also use quite a lot is aromatherapy. So that's why we've actually added aromatherapy self-care products as well in Shikra, you know, within the Shikra Wellbeing wellness brand. Because when you look at well-being, self-care in a holistic way, there is not just the use of acupressure mat, there is a use of, you know, a combination of stuff that we can actually incorporate in our daily life, to be honest. I mean,
Absolutely.
when I say, you know, sometimes I don't do meditation, but I probably listening at other stuff. I could, you know, I could be looking at self-care stuff in terms of what else I could be using while I'm laying on my mat, or I'm probably doing, you know, I'm
Okay.
reading. Yeah, so I'm
So you're
reading.
still taking time out.
Absolutely. And I the other passion that I'm looking into a lot now is reading on complementary therapies, like, you know, in the NHS, what is actually already out there, and those sort of things, while I'm relaxing on my mat and I'm doing that. So those sort of things are, you know, of the passion, in terms of reading about other therapies available. And you know, in terms of reading a lot about, you know, there are so much now that is like energy healing, the chakras, you know,
Yeah.
and
It's
acupuncture. There's
it's
so much.
interesting. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's interesting you bring it all up, actually, because as you know, like my part of my origin story is that, you know, after spending in the end 35 years in the corporate world, I spent it all living in this, not living in my body, not understanding this spiritual holistic side. And it's only been in like the last year, well, probably a couple of years, where I've been retraining, but certainly the last year, especially since losing Luther, the whole of my story, isn't it? It's about how I've started to discover my spiritual side that I didn't even know I needed to find. I didn't know it was in me. and I'm still doing that now, but I start to bring a lot of this stuff now into working with my clients, because like you said, it's like the whole holistic elements to it now. So when I'm working with my clients, my group program is everything about what you just said. It's about taking time out for yourself to start looking after yourself, respecting yourself again, moving from time poor to time abundance. Like when we're busy, we're too busy to look after ourselves, and that's when we need to be looking after ourselves even more. So not just doing this meditation on the hop when we remember to do it. It's about making it part of your day, isn't it? And but that can
Absolutely.
be take what you said's fine as well, right? Because you're taking time out for yourself, and that's the thing. It's about getting off that life treadmill for a little while and just chilling. And if that's chilling on your mat and reading a book, or that's chilling and thinking about your business, as long as we're not got all this fault stuff going in and out, that's fine. Because
Absolutely.
meditation doesn't have to be sitting in silence. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's the
Absolutely true.
ultimate, isn't it? That's the ultimate, to be able
Yeah.
to lay there on your mat with your pillow
Uh,
and think about nothing. But that's really hard to do, and I shouldn't use the word hard. Challenge. It's very challenging. But the more you do it, the more you can do it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm far from there yet, but it's taking that time. So I actually use I've got the mat and the pillow, and when you introduced me to it, I wasn't sleeping very well, and I started laying it on my bed and going to sleep for a bit, and then getting rid of it, like you say, because it's. But it did seem to help. But in the mornings now, what I do is when I get up and I do my exercise, do a little bit of yoga, and then I do my meditation, and I do that laying on the mat. And I now have taken off my gym top so that I'm bare skin on it. And yeah, at first you're like, it's a bit like walking on fire, probably, in it, walking on the hot coals. But once you're laying on it, it's really actually nice. And then it kind of, I guess it's the circulation of the blood, isn't it? Because you sort of feel it kind of like pumping, don't you, in a way?
Absolutely, absolutely. So basically, the way it works is, all the spikes there's, on the mat, on the actual pillow, is against obviously your skin. So it actually helps to actually unblock all your channels. So we do, believe like there's meridians, there are channels
Mm,
actually help with the energy flow, which is called chi, and obviously that's in the ancient Chinese medicine. And the traditional Ayurvedic, we call it prana, where actually, the channels are, if they are unblocked, that can lead to several, issues, concerns, problem within our body. And a lot of the time when you actually, sorry, it's my PC showing low battery. Just bear with me. That should be. There we go. That's back on now. And so, yeah, sorry about that. So basically, when that happens, the spikes actually unblock all these channels and improve your blood circulation. So
mm,
when your blood circulation is actually improved, so there's the flow of energy, and obviously where you're needing healing, it actually helps with inner healing. And there are times when people don't feel anything straight away, but you've got to use it consistently because it's actually working for your circulation as well. And this is why it's very important. We actually give 30 days trial. So I advise, please use those 30 days. There is a reason for it. It's very important that you actually use that to actually feel the benefit of it, because it does have so many benefits, within your health. It helps with pain, instant pain relief, although it may not do that for everyone. You just have to try and just keep using it. It will
yeah.
improve your circulation. It helps with headaches. It helps with, I mean, one of my colleagues actually used it for menstrual cramps, and it's just, instantly just relieve the pain. But it also, helps with like migraines, with stress relief, anxiety. So basically, when you lay on it, the way it works, basically, it just kind of make your mind, relax your mind,
Relax. Yeah.
remove all the thinking, the thoughts that actually has been accumulated through the day, because we do have, and that's why sometimes we meditate, is kind of to calm and relax our mind.
Yeah.
And when you're on the mat, and if you're meditating as well, you've got like a double whammy basically to actually help to calm your mind. And
Do you
just
know what?
remove the
Now
thoughts.
you saying that out loud, right? I have noticed that I've been much better at it, as in calming my mind. And I do. I lay out in my conservatory, and if I'm lucky, it's like nice and warm. You know, Great British summertime and all that. And it's just lovely. And I can hear. I've got like a glass roof. Sometimes I close my eyes, sometimes I don't. And I just lay there looking in it, like, you know, like when you watch the clouds and then I see the bird, and it's just so lovely. And I actually chuckle to myself sometimes, because I go to myself, do you know what? How lucky am I, right? That I can build this into my day and not feel guilty about it, because I know it's part of my self-care. And how amazing. And sometimes it's a struggle to go, do you know what? I need to get up now. I need to go and do some work. But it's really, really lovely.
Yeah,
And
because it also helps you, like if you use it in the morning. And I mean, in the morning, if I use it, it's sometimes when I've actually done a yoga session, and I've just used to kind of, to relax, and it actually helps me focus throughout the day. And this is what I've actually noticed. So with yoga in the morning and followed by the resting on my mat, it helps me to focus. And if I use it in the evening before bedtime, it just helps me to relax and calm my mind. And straight away, like instantly, I just feel like I am ready to actually sleep. Because I said it's several times where I'm actually falling asleep on it. And so many people have actually, tried. You need to look at all the reviews, a lot of the customers. Most of our reviews are actually at the moment on Amazon, because that's where we started as well. And our website is pretty new. So it's only started, I would say, less than a year ago. And now we're actually building the reviews on the website as well. And a lot of people have actually found benefit. And to be honest, this is what actually I feel very happy that I am actually helping people towards, their self-care and well-being as well, not just
nice.
for...
And you get a double whammy, don't you, with your nursing side and that? How amazing is that? To be able to balance your life, to be
Yeah,
able to
absolutely.
do that.
And
And that's
I always say to all my colleagues as well, you've got to try and see. And some of my colleagues have actually tried, and they actually now convert basically, and then they just love it, because a lot of the time, like I mentioned, as nurses, we don't take time for ourselves, and I think that is very, very important part of our, to be able to function, our well-being. We have to look after ourselves to be able to actually provide that care as well.
Exactly right. And it's not just nurses, that's everybody. And that's the whole principle of my practice now and my workings with my clients. It's about getting the message across that you can't just keep carrying on ignoring your body, because your body's sending you messages, right? So it's no coincidence when you're feeling stressed that you've got like a bad neck, your shoulders, your back's killing you. I had that a lot in my previous life, but I didn't know then that's what it was. That's where I always held my stress. Like I'd go for a massage and it would be like the most painful experience alive. And that, well, a bit dramatic, but and it would
No,
be
but
like,
that's true.
and it wasn't pleasant. It was never pleasant. And it was like, oh, you're going for a massage. And I used to feel myself explaining, going, yes, but it's not for that, But obviously they were freeing me for that short period of time. But then, of course, 5 minutes later, I'm building it back up again because I didn't understand.
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand everything what you're saying, because I actually now, my monthly well-being is a massage. Is I go for Thai massage actually, where they actually work on the deep tissue. So I understand fully where you're coming from, because I do feel it there as well. But then in between, I use the mat, because we do actually create a lot of tension around this area.
Definitely.
We do have knots and everything, you name it. If we don't actually take care.
Oh, Bina's gone. I'm guessing her battery died on us. But while she's gone, though, I will just say that as I said to you, I've been using this, and it is very prickly, but it is really rather nice once you start laying on it. It's really, really good. So I'm doing my 30-day trial for it at the moment, and then we're going to be creating some content, I think, on the back of that. But let's just see where Bina's gone. Sorry about that. We lost Bina there. Sorry about that. We lost you there, didn't we? So she's back.
Yes, I do apologise. I'm back now. So yes. So
And
we were
anyway, I'm not sure where we were, but we
so
were
we're talking about the shoulder and the knotting in the back. But yeah, so definitely self-care is a an important part of my life. And this is what I actually advise everyone is take time to look after yourself, because if you don't look after yourself, you're going to be in a position where you won't be able to actually help those around you.
Exactly. And I always like to use the plane analogy, don't you? Like when you go on an aeroplane, if they always say, don't they, in the demonstration, when the mask drops down, put it on yourself first before you help other people. And I think I love that analogy, because I think it is so, so true that, like you said, if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're next to useless to everybody else, right? Your family, right? They're not getting the best of you. They're getting the worst of you. If you're tired, irritable, because you're just not looking after yourself, then that has an impact on them as well. But it also has an impact in your business or in your career if you're employed, because you go into that cycle, don't you, of not sleeping very well. So you wake up irritable, then you go, oh my God, my life's just so terrible. And then you go into the whole day in that downward spiral of then not eating properly, not exercising because you're too tired and you haven't got time. And you go through that whole cycle of the day. And then by the time you get to the end of the day, you're like, do you know what? I'm going to eat that chocolate. Do you know what? I'm going to have that glass or 2 or 3 of wine. And then you go to bed and you can't sleep because you just peaked your cortisol levels again. And then it's just that vicious cycle, isn't it? And then when you're sleeping, that's when you're healing, isn't it? That's the time for your body to heal. So if you're not sleeping, you're not healing.
Yeah, no, that's so true, Julie, what you just said. And I think it's really important to take that 5-10 minutes before bed, or even while we are actually on the bed. Just, it could be anything. It could be like meditation. It could be do some,
breathing,
read a book, and not on your phone, because phone as well it's really bad because of the blue light. It affects your sleep. And just to kind of go back with my own self-care. I mean, my hip is still very challenging for me up to now. However, I'm not in that pain that I was when I was actually working on the ward. It's more manageable, and now because I'm more conscious about it, so I take care and I know what works for me, what don't work for me. I mean, for instance, I do all that, but what I've not mentioned is Zumba is actually part of my weekly, that I actually add as well, because to my self-care routine, because that's me time, doing Zumba session to strengthen my lower hip area, my lower back area, and it actually helps basically. So it's just finding the time what actually works for you, because everyone will feel differently about self-care. What it could be just from lighting a really nice aromatherapy candle that has pure essential oil in terms of can actually help with your mood. And obviously the job I do as a nurse actually work with a lot of women as well, women's health in terms of mood, and we actually see that. And sometimes when we reach a certain age, I mean, I'm myself going through perimenopause at the moment, so I understand everything about it now, how mood changes and all that. And so sometimes just kind of lighting a small candle there and just breathing in the nice aromatherapy, just to kind of calm your mind, bring all your thoughts back. And that in itself sometimes is just amazing, that if you do. Some people love having bath using a really nice Himalayan, there are essential lot of essential oil in Himalayan salt bath, depending obviously if you choose the right one, and that is great to relax in a bath. So whatever you find for you, that 5-10 minutes to actually do, and just go for it, just do what works for you. For me as well, sometimes taking Teddy for a walk, for instance, just 20 minutes, 30 minutes walk, sometimes just in yourself,
just clear your mind, be out in nature.
Absolutely out in nature. So whatever works for you, just kind of do.
And that's the thing with exercise. I think it's finding the thing that you really enjoy. Don't try and find something like running, right? I hate running, and I know you shouldn't. Well, I've tried it so many times. I just don't like it. So it's pointless me setting myself a task of running the London Marathon, say, because I don't like running, right? So give me something I enjoy, then I'll do it. So I get up in the morning and I do some cardio exercise, then I do a bit of yoga. Love yoga. I mean, as you mentioned about the age thing, sometimes you just get up every morning and go, where the hell did that belly come from? And it's like doing what you can to sort of maintain yourself. But I love that. I've always done aerobic type exercise. I don't do it really hard hitting, but because you can't as you get older. But I love doing that. So it's finding something. What I love, you might not like, right? So it's about finding what works for you, and because if you got to get into a habit of doing something, right? So it's pointless trying to change your old habits of not doing something to do something that you don't like, because you're just going to go straight back to your old habits, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's like,
something that
yeah,
you love.
it's like it depends. Some people find it, early morning doing a bit of exercise helps, but
Yeah,
other people may find it in the afternoon or in the
in the
evening.
evening. Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so find what actually works for you. Same with like nutrition as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's obviously finding the balance, what you like and what you don't like, and just
Mm,
being mindful. No good sometimes going on a diet where you're actually not eating anything
no.
and you lose weight, and then you find yourself in 6 months' time you're back to where you were. So
And
finding,
actually, you don't always lose weight
yeah,
because your body goes into starvation, and
yes,
then it just turns into more fat because it thinks it needs
yeah,
to help you.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah, and that's a whole nother story, isn't it? That we sadly haven't got time for. But
Yeah.
what we will do in the future is we're going to have, it might be called something else, I don't know, but I'm going to have like a regular feature where I get guests like Bina on, where we can talk about the holistic side of things, where we can give really good tips about the all-being, because it's not, we do have to understand the power of the mind, which I love teaching, and I love getting to the root cause for my clients and giving them that unstoppable journey. But in addition to that, it's about having all the holistic ideas that go with it, and understanding that you can't just eat a load of our rubbish and expect to be healthy. You are what you eat, right? You can't live your life not doing any exercise, because unfortunately your body will end up giving up on you, right? You need to do some to strengthen your body, especially as you're getting older. We need to keep our
Absolutely.
bones strengthened, don't we? So it's the whole, but also to your point you were saying earlier about releasing things. That's how I work with my clients a lot now. It's about finding those trapped feelings and emotions and really freeing you from them out of your body. And you can do that in therapy with me. You can do that in lying on these mats. You can do that with massage. But it's about getting to the root cause, getting rid of and clearing out your cupboard of crap, but then the maintenance, because otherwise you're going to get rid of, like we said about the shoulders, I can clear myself of it, but if I don't acknowledge that I need to make changes, I'm just going to build it up again, and then I've got to get rid of it, build it up. So it's about getting rid of it, but knowing what changes to make so you don't keep making the same mistakes over and over again.
Absolutely, and I think Julie, you do great job, of what you do, and what you provide is amazing, because I've seen a lot of your testimonials as well, and I mean I've had chat with you as well, and honestly amazing. If someone wants at least just to start having a chat with you and to actually see what how they can actually get the help, and then you can then tailor the help for them,
Exactly.
and to actually help, because like we said, we're looking at everything holistically now, even for our health in the NHS. Doesn't matter where you are, you need to look at things holistically and see what else you can actually do to actually help yourself, and be it starting with aromatherapy, any products, to getting a therapist to actually help to get to the root cause. That is really, really important as well, as much as using or doing other things that you actually do in
Exactly.
your daily life, and that is really important.
It is, and thank you for that very kind shout out, because sometimes it's just speaking to someone to find out the obvious, isn't it? It's like dragging that information
Absolutely.
out of you, what it is you want to do.
Yeah,
But
no.
listen, sadly, we need to go because we could talk for hours. Do you want to do a quick shout out where people can find you?
Yes, so our website is shikrawellbeing.co.uk, And we are also on Etsy, Amazon, but on our website you actually get lots of deals, lots of tips, wellness tips as well if you register. So I would say do come to our website, and we've got so many products now we're introducing, and there are some new launch as well happening very soon, but nearer the time we're going to actually let you know more.
Lovely. And like all of these videos, this video will be streamed on my social media channels, and it will also be put on my YouTube channel, Millieside Therapy and Coaching. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram's a little bit different. It's Julie Millieside, but everywhere else I'm Millieside Therapy and Coaching. And I look forward to bringing you another guest soon on my Become Unstoppable series. But for the time being, make sure you take note of what we've told you. You need to start looking after yourself, right? And Bina and I are going to do some more videos over the course of the period of time, because I am trialing her mat for her. So we're going to do some more interviews and discussions about some of her other products as well, because they are amazing.
And looking
So
forward
thank
to
you.
that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for watching. And obviously, when I upload all these, you'll get to see. I'll put links in, and on YouTube we'll put where you can find Bina as well. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time with my next unstoppable guest. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.